Hey, it's Bewitching Hour, our monthly episode,
We discuss the magical and the mystical happenings of the world.
and mostly the dumb things that are happening in this state, I'm assuming, tonight.
Oh, yeah. We are going to be talking a lot about that.
Happy
So
stuff. I was like hoping for.
there's some
Okay,
happy
because I was like, I
stuff.
can't do a total downer tonight.
Yeah, no, there's
Daria.
some like good, but just being prepared for like the old school angry Krista
Oh
rants. Like
no.
back in the day when I used to get mad. No, I think it's good because it shows when my passion is back. I'm feeling life in color today. I feel alive again. Spring has sprung. What am I smoking? I don't know. Go ask my dispensary down the street. So thank you, Mint, my neighborhood dispensary. But we are gonna start on the shitty note. I'm sorry about it, but we got to talk about it because for those of y'all who don't live in Arizona, we as women in the state no longer have the right to abortions or let alone any autonomy through that rule. So I know you watched a little bit of The View with our Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs. Give us a little recap of what you saw because I didn't end up watching it, but I know you said she slayed
Oh,
it.
she's a fighter. She talked about how she had a miscarriage herself, and if she was,
Oh my, okay, now I need to. Sold. That soundbite alone.
and she had an abortion herself for that reason, and if she wasn't able to get the health care she needed, that women in Arizona will die because of this, and we can't wait till the election to fix this. It was powerful stuff. She was
Oh,
like
very cool.
on it. She did a great job. And I know they try to get her answer some political questions because they probably are generally interested and they want to get people on the anti-Trump train, but she just like
Mhm.
only would talk about abortion. You'll just have to
Mm,
watch it. She did a good job.
that's awesome. What's ironic because I could have worked for her office had I gotten that one job that I was going out for. So it would have been really cool to have been there for that interview, but that's neither here nor there. They have bigger fish to fry than hiring me, clearly, in this state. So their loss. So another rant, though, going back into what the fuck does abortion rights have to do with
Mhm.
Bewitched banter? As we know, in a word, everything. Because abortion has gotten, and maybe always has in our modern political sphere, been tied to our religious rights or lack thereof now. And so that's what we're going to kind of cover real quick. But this law, you guys, this is an old 1800 school law, okay, from before the Civil Wars slash during the Civil War. So I just can't even comprehend like
Well,
what the fuck.
I mean, I know everyone's saying this, but Arizona wasn't even a state. Women couldn't even drive. They couldn't even vote at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to look for the hope in this. One silver lining I have to think of is that I'm glad this happened during the election year because this would be by far more
True.
terrifying if this happened after this upcoming election year because I think it's going to fire people up to vote. And they said a lot of like, I mean, I hate our whole political system anyway, but the fact that I
Sure.
think what was it, 100,000 people decided the last election? Was it? Because it's not really the popular
Yeah.
vote; it's all down to like this gerrymandering electoral bullshit. But
Right.
anyway, so Phoenix suburban women are a huge part of that equation if Biden or Trump will win, and I think this is gonna backfire. I don't know. That's the only
Got
silver, like
to.
not silver, saving grace I can think of. I mean, all of it's terrible and doesn't justify what's happening now. For the meanwhile, for those women who will suffer, but I don't know. There's a part of me. It's like you have to hold on to some hope because if you don't, then I don't know. It's just too depressing.
No, you're absolutely so stinking right. So coming in hot with this news, Bewitches, sorry about it, but again, Amy, that just happened to us last week. Well, not to us, but it feels like to us as women who in our state no longer have this right. That actually, what you were just saying though about it backfiring on Trump, and I know we had a little bit of banter via text about this, like hopefully backfiring for the Republicans this decision. And as you said, we're a key player, this our geographic location. In the same vein, I wanted to tease out a little bit of why again this matters to Bewitched banter, but again it's really tied to how we talk about this all the time: religion, free speech, government. Never been a separation of church and state as we were told and sold that lie, period. Okay, but before we get into the depressing shit, can we talk about something happy? Because I'm not going to be Daria for a minute.
Okay.
Can we please talk about yesterday? I just need to do a humble brag how I did not even know it was my fucking anniversary. What would have been my anniversary?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was awesome.
I was just like, holy shit, man. Like, I'm having flashbacks of us recording old school. Speaking of old school style, and like, and for those of y'all, old school is just audio. Me and Amy call that old school, even though it's been only 2 years, but it's old school to
Well, it
us. So deal
feels
with
like
it.
it was, like, right after the vaccine, so that feels like old times.
It really does. So anyway, yesterday would have been, you guys, my 7-year wedding anniversary, and I literally was like, had no idea until my dad brought it up, and then I had a really sweet moment with my dad, and like it was like,
That's crazy,
what?
it was
So hence
7
my flowers.
7 years ago? But I guess that makes sense because me and Corey's wedding anniversary was 6 this year. Damn, where does the time
Yep,
go? But
wild
anyway, not
stuff.
to
But
be like, "Oh my god," about time, but yeah, it's awesome you didn't remember. Well, it's funny because
yeah,
Snapchat, it wasn't Facebook, it wasn't anything else, just Snapchat kept on reminding me of that night when me and you did
oh no,
we
what
did
we do
Whole
this time?
30 before your diet, like
Oh
dumbasses, and then
god,
we're like, "We're gonna drink and eat pizza," and I was, like, spewing my guts out, and then the next night
what do we do the next night?
you had your rehearsal party.
Oh, my welcome party.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I was
But that was, like, the
drunk.
dumbest thing to be like, "Okay, we're gonna take every toxin out of our body right before the weekend of celebrating for your wedding." And we were both
Oh
like,
my
"Oh,
god.
we're fine," and we both were, like, on our deathbeds.
Oh. Well, you live, you learn. Shit.
I
Anyhow,
just don't know why we did that dumb diet to begin with. We should have
I
known
don't know.
the marriage
I
was cursed because we did that dumb diet before it.
you should have. And I've never been that skinny since. So there is a curse. So
No, it's because that diet was, like, making you miserable. I remember eating, like, cauliflower rice and sad lettuce wraps. It's not a way to
ugh,
live. But yeah, it's
no, it wasn't.
huge that you didn't remember. Is it because you're forgetful or
Thank
because you
you.
just don't care enough? Your
No,
combination.
you're not wrong. Probably a
Yeah,
combination, but no, I think honestly, I've just been so
I was gonna
distracted
say up your
and
own butt.
I like looking to better myself. But
I was
thank
it was
you
a
for that
joke. I was
compliment.
trying to
Wink.
I have to make things
Um,
lighthearted.
so no, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. All I know is I'm taking that as a win,
A huge win.
and
And
yeah.
he didn't text you on your wedding, did he ever?
Oh no, please, some motherfucker probably don't even know the date.
Okay, good. Because I'm like, that'd be weird if people. I was like, I know
No.
divorced people like text each other at Christmas and birthdays, but I was like, do they text at like post wedding? That'd be weird.
Hell no, that'd be so weird. Mm-mm.
Happy I got you
Nope.
day, and then you'd be like, not.
Happy I got fucked on your birthday day.
Oh,
Anyway, okay, let's move on back. We in Arizona have no rights.
oh,
And
we should probably not be laughing. We're like, all right, it's got time.
it's nervous laughter,
Yeah, that's
honestly.
true. I feel like to me, it makes me scared if I ever was pregnant and this law was in place because I watched that documentary about all those women.
Yeah.
So I could see a lot of it's like funny
Mm.
because they're trying to be pro life, but I could see a lot of women being like, well, I'm not going to get pregnant now for a while until this is sorted. All of it's like just so messed up. It's all
Mm.
about control and it's about winning
Control.
Trump's base. It's not really about regurgitating what everyone said a million times. I don't know if I have a fresh perspective. My only perspective is I'm trying to stay hopeful.
Okay, well, then this may or may not be hopeful. This was a really great article from the Washington Post, an opinion piece by Perry Bacon Jr., and the headline speaks for itself, exactly what we do on
Mhm.
Bewitched Banter. So, why religion is becoming even stronger, a stronger force within the Republican Party, i.e., religion seeping into everything we eat, do, sleep, breathe, act, consume, everything. It's a part of our lives, whether we are religious or not. These people in power have always infiltrated against church and state, and it's just like,
Well,
what the fuck.
I would also say
Like,
societal norms are based a lot on religion, even if you're not religious. Because
Right.
like it's like the monogamous marriage, and it's like that's been fed to us through how we were raised, and I mean part of that's a religious probably idea too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's just interesting, but
This
I'm not surprised because honestly, people are getting more extreme on both sides.
Well, that's exactly what I was kind of just this article covers so
Yeah.
beautifully. And it's about how, even though, and we've covered this
Mhm.
almost nearly every, I'm willing to say nearly every episode, if not every, the fact that even though the facets of religious people or spiritual people are declining, even among the Republicans who are declining going to church, the proportion of Republicans who still include those religious based views and their political
Mhm.
leanings is the problem, and that's exactly what this article talks about. So enter not only freedom of speech, as you know, that's my soapbox, anti-vaxxers, other agendas, obviously abortion, like they're just it's they're still using religion even though they don't even practice the damn thing themselves, like Trump holding the Bible. Like, come on, please.
Yeah.
Like, no,
It is interesting.
just makes me so mad.
Did they say why they're leaning on these religion? I mean, I know the bigger picture, but did they have a perspective of why?
Yes, because they basically put all of their political racehorses and their bets in him winning that religious vote, right? Remember the other one we covered about, was it Texas Christian
Well,
University? The big university scandal, because they put all this money behind the religious people to get their followers to then vote Republican or conservative, I should say. Maybe not Republican, but certainly conservative.
it scares me that they've even openly admitted he's not Christ-like, but he'll bring us closer to Christ. Like they think he's like some
The
of them think he's a savior. I'm like, how?
Yeah, it's real
Should we have a Trumper on the
scary.
show?
We can. I don't know that they'll survive,
I
but
mean, I don't know if I would
no.
have to hang up on them, but it could make.
You know who we got to call is what's his face, the lizard
But
guy,
he's not a
the
Trumper. I
crazy.
feel like we should get a Trumper. You
What?
don't
Are you
think
sure he's
he's
not?
not a Trumper? He's definitely far. I don't even know how to explain what his political views are,
Maybe
but I
libertarian,
want.
if
I
that.
think because we talk about Trump so much, we should get a Trumper on the show, and people would tune in for that.
I'm down with that. I don't. We don't know any. There's the problem. Well, I guess we'll find
I mean,
some.
well,
Craigslist.
who cares? It'd just be interesting. There has to be someone who would love to talk about their views on a podcast.
There's always someone.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be probably a little scared to do it.
Your neighbors, the old people you said that are cute enough.
Oh, the gardeners?
Yeah.
They're like 75. So I was like, I feel like they would not be good with technology.
Oh yeah. Not gonna
Yeah.
work.
And I feel like for old people, I wouldn't be, I don't know. For some reason, I would have more like, I probably would be annoyed, but I'd be like, feel bad for them because they're old and they're getting taken advantage of. I don't know.
I mean, unless that's truly their beliefs. I'm like, you got a lot more empathy for that than because that think about this. They've had 80 more years to live and learn that that's all bullshit, and yet they're still going with it.
I mean, I'm not
So
excusing their behavior. I'm just saying it would be harder for me to debate a really old person unless they're totally being an ass. Then I'll be like, oh, I'll dig into you. But they're gonna be all like, I think those people. I don't know. We can talk about it off air. I just think it'd be interesting to have
those people. What you mean,
those
those
people.
people?
They're idiots. I would
Amy.
have a hard time respecting. But
Amy's racist. You heard it first on Bewitched Spencer.
Trump, those people, they are those people to me though. They're kind of. I mean, but then you meet people who like Trump and they're like really smart, educated people, and you're like, how is that possible?
That was the good old American swindle that he's so good at.
Yeah.
Such a fucking swindler. Fucking scary. Well, anyhow, Republicans, to your point, this is the silver lining and the hope of ray of hope you were looking for. This article also says it's going to really play with and test the Republican Party's stronghold on the abortion issue, specifically with the Trump women vote. You know, hopefully.
I don't think women. Well, there are going to be women who vote against their interests, but I feel like a lot of it's going to be like last time. They're going to do this, and I have a feeling from they should look at what happened the last election. They said it was gonna be like a red wave, and I
Mhm.
feel like it was because women came out to vote in Gen Z and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But then also I'm scared because the whole Gaza thing and Biden.
I don't even know. I've like, as you know, tuned out because it's
Well,
too much simulation. I know there's obviously world wars happening, but what's happening with that?
I'll give you the lowdown, like big picture. I think it was 100,000 voters in Michigan, instead of voting for Biden, wrote in, what was it? They wrote in like something undecided. It's a protest vote. And it's because a huge
Okay.
population of those people are from Palestine and the migrant
Okay.
community. And so, anyway, so that is concerning to me because I understand for people who have relatives that were lost, like, how could you ever vote for Biden? And I don't even want to comment on the issue because it's very complicated. Because in a way, America is funding the Israel. I feel like the history is so complex, but
Mhm.
it just scares me that a lot of people say they're not going to vote because of that reason. They're not going to vote for Trump, but they're like, I can't vote for Biden too. Well,
Fuck.
we're
Why
all
don't we have a third option though? That's what I don't understand. I don't understand why it always has to why it has to come down to two, only two all the time. Like why can't we have a third?
I think they want to, but this is not the year for it because this year, if Biden loses, we're losing like democracy. We're gonna have a dictator. So this is just like not the year to try out a third candidate.
I
It's like
see.
play it
Got you.
safe.
Got
This is
you.
just not the year. Like it's like dictator.
But how sad that this is safe.
Yeah, but this might be like what we need to have a third party eventually.
Let us pray.
But I feel like Biden's done a lot more than people give him credit for, in my opinion. But they just like do such a bad PR campaign. They do such a bad job of explaining what he does. The only reason I know this, like what he's done, is because I watch the View every day and they educate me about what he does. And I'm like, I didn't know he did any of that stuff. If I wasn't like tuned in politically, makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. The only thing I know about is student loans because that's actually impacts me.
Exactly, and
So
he's done a lot. And so I feel like, but the problem is they don't do like Democrats just do such a bad job of doing PR. And they need to like learn to talk
I
at like a
agree.
fifth grade. Like, so Trump, what he does is he talks at a level like everyone can understand. Well, so right now he's like a blabbering idiot, but he talks to people in a, I don't know. I just feel like the Democrats sometimes have like this elitism about them and they need to learn how to talk to all sorts of people. And really, a lot of times their people are voting against their self interest. They don't realize they're voting for someone who will not help. Like if you don't make more than like $250,000, voting for that person is not going to benefit you. I don't know. It's like weird to me how people vote on such weird issues that don't really impact their everyday lives, like abortion, for example. I mean, as women, yes, let's be powered up. It impacts us all, but those people who are anti-abortion, when you just teach your children this is our moral compass, you don't have one, and then vote on issues that
Mhm.
matter more to you, like things that you're like your taxes or I don't know, your grocery bills or like progressing society in a better way. I don't know. I'll get off my soapbox.
What is England's abortion policy?
I don't know, but I'm assuming England's very liberal, so I'm assuming you would be able to get the care that you need. I don't think it would be.
Yeah, I was just
I know like
curious.
my cousin's a midwife and those are outlawed in America, so or not outlawed, but it's not like a normal practice. I feel like it's more they're way more progressive there. So I guess I would assume people have access to it.
Makes sense.
But that's a good question. I don't know.
Well, Lindsay, we're giving you a call later to confirm.
I can't Google.
Let's see. Abortion legal in Arizona. We know it's not. Thank you, Google. I already know that fucking answer. Should I say England or the UK?
Well, England, because I mean, might be different.
Oh, it is legal. As of this is how progressive they are. The abortion law in the UK and England, Scotland and Wales, the Abortion Act of 1967, okay,
Well,
1967, folks, made abortion legal as long as the specific criteria are met,
can I tell you something?
which probably is
Why why it
yeah.
makes sense? A lot less people in England are religious there. So
Hmm.
religion doesn't play such a political force, where a lot of Americans are very religious.
Right.
So that's probably why.
And you know what the funniest shit is? We left fucking England to not be persecuted based on religion, and yet these motherfuckers are doing it to other people.
Well, it makes you not like religion.
I'm losing my mind.
I shouldn't say that, but it's like it makes you not like religion. It doesn't make me like religion. It makes me not like Christianity. So I'm like, you're shoving your views down my throat. When do I ever shove my view down your throat?
Mhm.
But they all got upset when they couldn't get their
Exactly.
ugly hairdos done during the pandemic. Remember they were like walking around with my body, my rights posters because they wanted a haircut.
No,
You don't remember that?
I don't
Dude,
remember
you missed
that.
out on good shit.
I
I
was in my dark hole at that time, as we
I guess I
discussed at the
just
top.
need
So
to tune you in on the I should send you bullet points every week. This happened, this happened, this
all of 2020 through
till
22
now.
and a half is blacked the fuck out as far as pop culture for me. So
No, I'm talking about even now though. I need to send you bullet points. I'm like, this happened,
oh
this
yeah,
happened.
of like you do. Oh my god. Well, I'm angry, as I told you I was gonna get. But do you want to know what makes me not angry? It's my little
Okay.
segue. And you know the answer. It's super fucking easy. Going from the depressing Republican, anti-abortion, anti-vax, anti anyone else's rights but their own
Mhm.
rant. Something that makes me very happy is meditation. Obviously, I talk about it on the
Mhm.
regular, on and off air. It's what I do. 10, 15 minutes a day, period. I've been doing that for, wait,
I
period.
cannot take the period, you saying that. Every time you say that kills me. Didn't I the other night ask you to stop saying it?
Yeah, because I was doing it on purpose in
I
front
know, I
of
was like,
you,
"Can you
and it
just
was great.
stop that because it's killing me."
But yeah, meditation is my next bewitching hour topic. And this article was actually just published today from a study that came out. And I love the ties to this, they're so intertwined. The impact of meditation versus exercise on psychological characteristics, including paranormal experiences
Okay.
and beliefs. So they were trying to study if the more you meditate, does that mean these subjects would have more
Okay.
paranormal experiences? That is obviously a very long written study from the University of Virginia. And so if you guys want to check it out, Google it, the University of Virginia impact of meditation, and the rest will come up on Google. But it was obviously a randomized trial impacting well-being, mindfulness, and versus exercise on the impact of our belief
Mhm.
systems, which I was like, holy shit, that's exactly what I mean. I just love to discuss and seek. And so it was this is the problem though, it's a really small study because research on meditation alone is still so underfunded and
Mhm.
underdone. So there were only 72 participants into
So
the meditation and then the exercise group. So, the sample size, not great. However, they did find that obviously we know this answer, or this T, that meditation does reduce physiological symptoms like stress and anxiety, general health. We already
mhm.
know that through meditation studies, even though those are limited out there. However, you'll be like, well, no, like no shit, because their brains, because of the episode you covered. But those who meditated showed more traits towards openness than the exercise group. And maybe that perhaps then, this is me,
Mhm.
I think if you're more open minded, then you're more willing to accept phenomena we don't understand, i.e., paranormal things, woo woo things that I tend to
Mhm.
love. And the meditation group also, because of that, I'm assuming that openness reported more paranormal experiences and finding those experiences more
I
meaningful.
could have told you
So,
that without doing $1,000,000 study. Don't
yeah,
impress
I
me
mean, you
much. No, but
Oh my god, one of my guys in my kitchen didn't know who Shania Twain was because what song came on? Oh, Any Man of Mine started blasting, and I was like started jamming, and one of the little line chefs was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "You don't know Shania Twain? We're gonna school you today who Shania Twain is.
no
Thank you."
way.
He was our age
No,
probably,
no way.
and I was like, "She's like." Yeah, I was like, "Dude, she's like one of the hottest bitches from the
I
'90s."
get if you're like Gen Z, but not if you're our age. You had to
No.
know.
Yeah,
was.
he at least he didn't look Gen Z. Hope I'm not aging him, but anyway,
Unless he lived under a
I was
rock.
like, dude, I was like, dude, she's smoking. Even till this day, probably still smoking.
Yeah, I just remember seeing that like with my sister and my two cousins, my family driving me around. The four of us like packed in like sardines, and even like
Cute.
choreography and stuff. I
Oh,
knew like
damn.
all the
Okay.
song, every word. That don't impress me much.
Uh-uh. So that, yeah, exactly. I mean, you covered this a lot more in depth than I am right now about your brain forming neurendodites. Is that the right word? You did a really nice piece on our brain on religion, which included, is it neurendites? What does it form? New neural pathways.
Uh,
So, for those of you who are looking to escape like I do every day for 15 minutes, obviously this is a great health benefit. And this test was trying to study if it leads to more paranormal, but with 72 people, not going to
mhm.
find that shit out. But also, like, that kind of pisses me off that people don't take studying paranormal seriously. I don't know. Like, they don't know that they don't know.
There's a
No.
lot of other things I think we should be spending our millions of dollars studying.
Well, sure. I'm equating it to unknown. We don't
I
know.
know, but that's
There's so
kind of
many
weird to be
unknowns in the
like.
universe. There's so many unknowns in the deep ocean.
That's kind of weird. Be like, go
So I
study the
guess,
unknown. You got to have like a topic at hand to study it and do experiments and like theories. If it's unknown, how would they study it?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why can't we do more of it though? We're never going to know if we're not given the means to do so.
Okay, so would you be okay with someone being like, well, I believe in a pink rabbit and I believe it dictates everything we do? And we would be like, well, that's an unknown. Go for it. Go study it. Prove that it exists. I know that's extreme, but if you're saying that, that opens the door to religious people being like, we need millions of dollars to pour in to prove that this is the religion for the chosen ones. Like, where would we stop that?
Yeah, that's actually a really scary valid
Yeah, I'm like,
point.
I don't think that's a great idea. Go spend all this money on the unknown. That's why I look at it. Let's spend the money on important things like saving lives.
Things that we know we can
Yeah. I guess
fix.
that answer to me, that's how I would answer your question, but maybe other people would answer it differently.
No, I get it. Obviously, I'm just fascinated with paranormal things and
And I
like
feel like there has been a lot of studies, but there's if there's no evidence, then why would you keep studying it? That's my kind of clap back.
that's a good one. I got nothing. I got nothing on that. On
Yeah, no
that.
reply.
Anyway, meditate if y'all want to be happy just a little bit. As I started this episode off, I'm very happy these days. It might have something to do with the mind altering drugs, but uplifting drugs.
Anything else you're going to cover?
Yes, actually, speaking of the unknown, I have some on space and the
Okay.
universe. And as we know, just last week we had the
Mhm.
eclipse, and I wanted to cover what eclipses are briefly and little like ancient tales around those belief
Okay.
systems. So, obviously, eclipses go back thousands of years, and in fact, were dated all the way back into ancient China and Egypt. But of course, those people, those people, no, of course, ancient people, those people, what you
Those
mean?
people are on my lawn. I tell you, Trumpers do scare me a little bit. Extreme Trumpers.
Oh, I know. Ancient peoples obviously thought eclipses were godly or supernatural things, messages, omens coming down from their higher powers. And so that's how a lot of myths and story became about, and our obsession a little bit with
Yeah.
eclipses, right? Other than it just being a really cool visual astrological event to the naked eye, but also just that wonder and that awe of like what is
Mhm.
out there. It is unknown, speaking of. So in Christianity, your
Mhm.
favorite, eclipses have been interpreted as divine signs or warnings, leading to a mix of either fear or
Mhm.
fervor. And we know how Christian fervor goes for us so well, don't
Mhm.
we? In ancient Egypt, there was a serpent named Apep, and he was known to create chaos and evil. And he was said to have swallowed the sun god Ra, and that then required an army of deities to help him cut the snake's head off and plunge him into darkness forever. I even have a story from the Vikings, which I thought was cool because I feel like we never talk about Vikings ever. And it's such a, I don't know, what a cool ancient
Mhm.
thing. They, anyhow, believed that an eclipse occurred when the wolf named Skull, who pursues the sun goddess. So, again, all these things of chasing the
Yeah.
sun and getting the sun god. And if Skull succeeds in swallowing Soul and plunging into the darkness, it heralds the start of a new battle between the gods and the end of the world.
Mm.
So, a lot of world ending stuff. In Hindu mythology, the battle is between the sun god and the demigod, Rahu, who are both attempting to be immortal, like many gods and goddesses. And Rahu continues to chase the sun god around the world,
Mhm.
obviously, until he also devours him. And then finally, in ancient China, we have the myth of the dragon swallowing the sun, while South American myths say it was a leopard. And in Vietnam, the giant frog swallows the sun, and in Korea, a pack of dogs. So,
So this is interesting to me because I don't know if this is a weird thought, but like they obviously didn't have much to talk about then because the
what you think on their TikTok, like, oh, look what she's doing now.
sorry, I feel like that's like the most negative response, but I was like, this eclipse is boring as shit. I know I wasn't in the line of the total blackout.
Your friends were though,
Yeah, and
right?
they sent me pictures, and I was like, "That's cool." I'm sure if you experienced it, it was a cool moment, but for me, I was just like, "This is boring as shit." And then I was like, to make all these tales, and it's probably something that only happened what it happens like every 30 years.
Yeah, sometimes longer depending on the astrological
Well, I
rotations.
think they said the next one will be in 30 years.
Fuck, we're gonna be so old.
I know, but who cares? I don't really care what I'm doing the next eclipse. Do you? I understand some people travel and like Evansville filled up. I was like, I would not pay all that money like 3
Evansville.
minutes of blackout.
We do that on the Daily in Phoenix. Thanks.
I was just laughing because I saw that I told you that meme. It was like if I sent you a meme or something. It was like, well, if I black out on a Monday, no one's impressed, but
Yes, yes.
everyone's applauding the
I was
sun.
like, I was like, I was like, oh god. But you know what's funny? So I was same thing. I was in bed as I told you, and I had I think a late night shift before. And I was in bed for I was
You
tired
didn't miss
anyway.
anything
And
here.
normally I'd be like, I'm super
Mm.
into astrology, but I
You
don't
didn't miss
know, I was
anything.
not
Me and
into
Corey had
it.
the glasses, and I kept being like, "Is that it? Is that it?" I don't know. It just looked like a little like someone took a bite of the sun here. It didn't look like much.
Aw.
It was honestly very
Eh,
boring. I wouldn't even known if I didn't know it was going on. I would just been like,
you're so
"Stop
boring.
boring and get more exciting."
Yes,
I know
sun
it was
and
just I
moon.
was laughing though because like I don't want to hate because maybe for some people it was amazing, but people were like writing all this deep. They're like, I was just taken away from the beauty and like we're crying, and I was like, okay, maybe I don't even think if I was in that moment I'd feel that way though. Do you think so?
Our motor,
Huh?
everyone. The emotional one, everyone.
I'm emotional about other things, but just not like the sun. But that would just not get me. I guess I would be like that.
Which is ironic because you love nature. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I don't know, but who knows? Okay, that's my end of like eclipses are kind of boring or whatever.
I guess you're Daria today, so thanks for taking the role.
Just wondering if anyone else out there agreed with me on my stance.
Listen, I was sleeping too, like I said. So obviously we know these ancient myths were what all the rage back then and what they had to talk about. So they made those beautiful stories. And as we know, the solar eclipses occur scientifically when the moon phases between the sun and the earth, casting the shadow on Earth's surface.
So we will have more in the future, but we're not gonna have a full totality one until 30 years. That's what I meant.
Yeah, we have one in my birthday in Libra, which I know from one of my tarot readers. So take it or leave it.
Gonna turn
I
you
don't know.
on.
Skepticism's got me a little. No, I obviously I'll do my tarot cards and stuff. I have one more for you, or
Okay.
two more actually. Uh, so scientists have discovered a black hole, and it's the most massive one in the entire universe. Or sorry, in the Milky Way galaxy. This one is called LB-1, and it's 50 times greater than the size of the sun.
I don't really get what a black hole is. Isn't it a loss of energy or something?
It is a vacuum of space, time, air, like of nothingness. Let me look up the exact definition. Let's see.
I was like,
Vacuum
I know
in
what it is in
space.
theory, but I was like, I don't know. It's hard to even fathom.
This is from Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia. You should
Mhm.
sponsor us. Outer space has a very low density and pressure, and it's the closest physical approximation to a perfect vacuum. But no vacuum is truly perfect, not even in interstellar space, where there are still. What the fuck does that even mean? That doesn't help. What is it? Definition. I forgot one word in Google. Here we go. By
Mhm.
definition, a vacuum is devoid of matter. Space is an absolute vacuum, not because of suction, okay, but because it's simply empty. That's what I said. I was actually right. And that's from Live Science. People are terrified of them. Again, because
Oh,
I think
why? Because
the unknown. I think that's what it is. This whole episode's about the unknown. That's what this episode's titled. It's a great
no, but
unknown.
see that's just so weird to me. People be scared of something. I'm like, why?
I could understand why, because it fucks with your idea of existence. If that's nothing, then what the fuck are we? Who are we? Why are we?
Yeah, but I think those questions are through religion too. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think that's. I think it's actually a very scientific question.
Yeah. Are you
If but
saying
that's
like,
nothingness, then
why does it matter what we are though? At the end of the day, I don't know.
because I'm curious.
I know, but I guess at the end of the day, it was like, what does it matter? I guess how scared are people of black holes? It doesn't seem that scary to me.
People are mad scared of black holes. Fear of black holes. I bet you it has a term. Yep. Ready for
Hmm.
this? Mel- Melanophiliophobia.
Okay.
From Greek, melas, which means black, and helios is the
No.
sun.
I remember watching the movie like Bluephonic.
Melanophiliophobia. That's going to be my tutoring job, actually. Not phonics, a different system. But anyway, all right. So scientists have found this black hole that Amy could give a shit about, but I thought it was pretty fucking cool.
I don't understand why people have a fear. I just think it's funny to me how so many people jump to fear as their first thought.
Yeah. Once again, the unknown, which
That's
is why I think we need more investigation into the said unknown. So
okay.
we
You want
don't
to go
understand.
fund me and my belief that there's a pink unicorn out there for $1,000?
Oh my god, I wish there was.
I'll
Oh.
send you a Venmo. Thank you.
Her name's Sparkles. Magenta. Anyway, this black hole is not only 15 times greater than the sun, but it's located about 15,000 light years from Earth in the constellation of Sagittarius, which is teddy bear. My teddy's a Sag. Basically, it says by studying this, obviously, it'll give us more understanding of ourselves and the world around us and outer space in general. So it's crazy that we can even study something that A, massive, and B, that far away. But I don't know. I thought it was cool. And then finally, last but not least, we have the alien story that you had sent me from the BBC. And obviously, the search for alien life has been ongoing. And something that I don't know, I've always believed in. And ironically, I think you have too, which I still have trouble wrapping my brain around between aliens versus ghosts. But that's another day, another
Community
episode.
literally saying they exist. That's the difference. Many reputable it's like
But
crazy. I feel like to believe there's not other life out there. It's like a little
Yeah.
small-minded, I guess. Because like, I feel like not small-minded, I would say, just that the aliens have been or not the aliens, the aliens have been talking to me and telling me.
Oh my god, she's Trey, you guys. I knew it.
No, I just
She's been the alien the whole time. She's the lizard person.
I don't know, I just feel like maybe they're not even, like, life beings, but there has to be some form of life out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. You know I agree with that. I
That's why
mean,
I
it
don't feel
is
like ghost to me is I don't know. I don't obviously, I don't believe in that.
what if ghosts are the aliens? Mm?
That doesn't make sense, but okay.
Yeah, it does. How does it
I
not?
don't know, but I'm not going with that theory, but you can keep going with that one.
I am definitely my weed's kicking in for sure.
Totally good. Good one.
Woo! I thought it was there for a second, but like, what if
It
though?
could. I mean, what if a lot of things, right?
Exactly. Thank you for being open-minded.
That's as much as you're gonna get out of me for being open-minded towards that
I'll take it.
theory. Whatever makes you sleep better at
I
night, honey.
I will sleep great. Anyway, my weed's really kicking in. I gotta wrap this shit up. So obviously we've been studying life on other planets and in the universe for a really long time. But the difference now is that with our tech getting better and better, we're able to study more things further away at much faster rates of getting it even back, getting all that data back, right? So there's miniaturized spacecrafts, there's AI in space, which baffles me, but it's so cool. My former students were studying that, like aerospace engineering using AI. I'm like, what the fuck? Blows my mind. Like, I wish I could be that brilliant. So we're studying more and more, and we're getting more interesting data about what if there is other life. But the more question that really wraps it up to the top of this whole goddamn thing is the question of what constitutes life. So, for those of y'all men out there telling us that you think you know what constitute life is, why don't you go double check with the NASA scientists? Period. End. Done. See ya. No, for real. Like that's what studying other life is gonna do. What does life even mean? You know?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I absolutely think there's different forms of life, but what's a viable life?
Now you're getting into pro life territory.
No, that's not pro-life territory. That's like getting into like well, I like IVF, how they're trying to say like a little it was like a speck of a pen had rights. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Come on.
A speck of a pen had rights.
No, sorry, I probably explained that terribly, but the size of that stem cell is the size of if you took a pen and dabbed it. It's that small, and they were saying that that was life, which I think
Mm.
scientifically, yes, maybe has life, but it's not like they should have rights. It's just ridiculous, right?
That's why we have the problem we're in right now, this conundrum, because we don't have a unified human definition of what constitutes life, let alone a viable
Yeah,
life.
I just feel like at a
So
certain point, it's you do you. Like if you don't believe in getting abortions, that's fine. Teach your children morally. You don't believe in that. But at the end of the day, it's their decision. It's people's bodies. It's just, and I feel like there's so many other issues. It's just, I feel like this is a distraction issue too.
that no question.
It shouldn't even
No
be
question.
questionable at this point. But here we are. Anyway, that's how I feel about all that bullshit. But are you covering that one article I sent you?
The aliens one?
The one about how we're gonna be talking to them in 10 years? Or if you didn't, that's okay. I thought it sounded.
No, I'm so sorry. I guess I missed that part of it.
Oh,
It didn't say anything about. Okay, I missed that. I'm sorry.
maybe it was the other
Nope.
one. It doesn't matter. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, I mean, but if it does constitute life, maybe we will be talking to aliens in 10 years, as Amy said.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm ready.
Would you talk to them? What would you say? Like, what would be your
They're not gonna
first?
understand what we're saying. No way.
But you don't know that.
I would assume it's hard to think that they would have like the same body language, same mannerisms. I feel like it would be hard to. You never know. I feel like it's.
I don't think you can assume either way. Is
Well,
my
they even
clap back
remember
to
I
that.
covered all that in one of those episodes. I talked all about
Oh
how
yeah,
we
you
would
did,
be with them, and it
and how
wouldn't be at first. It went. People were like, "What would you say?" You wouldn't be able to talk to them.
yeah,
I don't know.
I guess.
And probably they're not coming to talk to me. They're probably gonna come talk to like someone like Taylor Swift or the president.
I was gonna say Trump.
No,
Ugh,
I would like to think they're not
probably.
evil.
Maybe they want to study him for like what this orange specimen
Well,
is
I don't think
and
he'll be
how the hell he.
alive when that happens.
I mean,
He's pretty old.
yeah, he is. This is our future, everyone. Old and shitty versus old and I don't know. Yay, America.
I know, but I don't agree with a lot of stuff Biden's done, but I feel like he's done more than we realize. And he was kind of handed like a shit hand. I just don't see many people. I think it's crazy because obviously we're nowhere near where we need to be, and we need more progressive people in there. But that needs to happen more at like the local level. People need to pay attention to.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
And we're not taught that anymore in school, I feel like, Did you have civics growing up? I don't feel like I ever had civics.
we did.
You did. And I know that sounded like a libertarian and or not progressive thing, but I'm just curious because I actually would wish I did know more about civics and local voting processes.
I mean, but I think it's kind of at the point where you just have to go out and educate yourself. And there's lots of people who would love to talk to you about it.
Yeah, with their own agendas, though. That's the scary part.
Well,
You have to make sure.
with everything in life, I mean, everyone has an agenda at the end of the day.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying, though, is that's the scary part is people aren't taught to think critically, like as far as all angles. So, because we're seeking quick solutions for for hard problems, really difficult human problems. So, anyway, I'm getting esoteric and I'm stoned. I'm gonna wrap that shit right on up. Peace, bewitches.
Peace. Thanks for listening. Check us out on Instagram or bewitchbanter.com. Suggestions for the show? Emails at bewitchbanter@gmail.com. Credits, music Phantom Fun by Jonathan Boyle from premiumbeat.com. Podcast, edited and produced by Krista Hinz and Amy Holt. As always, if you enjoyed, please rate, review, and subscribe.